Hello, I'm Jerry Lintner, and this is State of the Town, a monthly show when we sit with our first Selectman, Lisa Heavner, and get brought up to date on the state of the town. Hello there, boss. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Jer?
Well, fantastic.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, and I hear you're fantastic.
According to you, yes.
Yes, you absolutely are. Although it seemed to me, and we did when I first came in, I said, I have nothing to talk about. I hope you have a guest. And I guess you do, but we're going to hold that as a surprise.
Yeah, it's an important guest because
well,
it's an important
is.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to give a hint, I saw some vehicles associated with what his association is. The other night, was it Sunday night, coming into town.
So I think you've given it away.
No, I'm not. That could be three different possibilities.
Okay, you're right. It could.
So you get three guesses. and if you don't get it right out of those three, you're slow. Okay. Oh, my word. That's as distasteful as the debates. My telling people they're slow.
Moving on, Jer. Moving on.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I was curious about, but I guess there's no breaking news on it, and that is the mobile station.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been there so long, always horribly overpriced, and then kaboom, it's gone. And I don't know, I heard a rumor that maybe it's going to be a high rise there.
I have not heard that, Jer. What I can tell you is what I do know. So it was being leased to a tenant, and that tenant is no longer interested in completing the lease. So he's moved out, and when that happens, they remove the tanks as a matter of course. And there's about 12 months to 18 months left on the lease, so they're looking for a new tenant. And they have not indicated what type of tenant they are looking for.
What is it zoned for? It could be anything, right? It's just commercial zone. Once the tanks are out, it could be anything. Of course, somebody going in would have to prove it wasn't like that one on the corner of 44 that now there is a bank there,
Right.
but good gracious, that sat there for so many years. And what do they call that when you have to
A brownfield?
well, no,
remediation?
when the land is dirty and polluted and it's not, you have to refurbish it, you have to
Now, I don't believe that's the case here.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a matter of, now I don't know for sure, I haven't looked into that, I can find out for you next time. But but right now I think.
I have to wait till next time.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, if you give me the questions in advance, I can help you
well,
out.
I don't want you to be prepared. I want this to be spontaneous.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So
So
they're looking for a new tenant.
a new tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who is they?
The owners.
Who owns it?
Well,
I mean,
don't
a
want,
private party? Or?
Yeah, an individual. Yeah.
We don't want to, they may not like to have their name on television. You have to be very careful these days. And I can't afford a lawsuit.
All right then.
Yeah, okay. So let's see. Actually, though, I picked up this thing called First Selectman's Report. And when I was looking at it, it sounds like, well, reevaluation of real estate. Did we touch on that last month?
I think we did. Yeah. So that's underway, and what we do.
Yes, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
what we do, it's required by state law to make sure that when we tax people, we tax them on the fair value of their homes. And the way that we determine the fair value of homes is to go through a revaluation process where we go and you drive by some of the homes or talk with the homeowners and sort of see what's there. Has anyone built something, review the building permits, and so the people are taxed fairly and contribute their fair share.
I know we talked about it last month.
Yeah.
Because suddenly it dawned on me, recently, I looked up a number of properties, including my own, and it was short a bedroom.
There you go.
So, good citizen I am. From here, I walked right down to the assessor's office and reported myself and said for some reason they missed a bedroom in the count. There are 4 bedrooms.
Well, thank
not
you for
3.
doing that, Jerry.
You're very, very welcome. And I expect some sort of recognition. There's probably a medal or something, right?
I'll give you formal recognition. Good job.
Oh, hey, how about that? I got the Good Job Pat Award.
You did.
That would be a great name for an award, or Pat him on the back award. Although now I'm really, really going off on a tangent, but it was something you said one day
Uh-oh.
that, no, I love it. I think it'd be a great, great slogan for Simsbury. We were talking about the town and different elements and what a great town it was, and you said something about, a great town from river to ridge. That's got to go in Simsbury's slogan someplace.
Well,
A great town from river to ridge.
I think it is a good slogan. Unfortunately, I can't take credit for it. I don't remember. I think I got it from the Simsbury is the one who first used it. But I think it is
Who
a great
used
slogan. The Simsbury group that runs the triathlon in town.
Oh.
I think that's where I first saw it, but I don't know.
Oh, that might have been Linda Schofield because she was promoting
Yeah.
like the river and the bikes and the ridge and the, okay, well then I'll have to tell her. She
Yeah.
should,
No,
yeah.
I use it a lot because I think it does demonstrate what is great about this town.
yeah, well
and
it
the
sounds
assets
so
we have.
intriguing,
Yeah.
from river to ridge. It's like, what all would be between the river and the
there-
ridge?
Yeah.
But then also listed here, there were lots of people starting new businesses, opening new businesses. There's
You know what I did today, Jerry?
Cut a ribbon.
I did. I went to a ribbon cutting for Best Cleaners, which is opening up in the North End, so that was very exciting. And they offer tailoring and eco-friendly, and they donated a bike to Simsbury Free Bike. So
Well, they have done a very nice job on, that little building.
right,
You got used to it, so you hardly ever really looked at it. But it's basically the same building. But the new facade is very nice looking.
very nice.
And then, of course, when the paint store moved in there, they took a couple of the spots. So now we have the cleaners in there.
I want to thank Steve Antonio. He's really taken an interest in the North End, and that's, I believe, his property. So we're excited to see that develop.
Well, it abuts his property.
Yeah.
Is it his property?
Oh, now you have me second guessing. I'm not sure.
We can't say the
Yeah.
name. It's a private owner, and I don't want to get sued.
But the whole North End is looking to redevelop, and I think it's exciting, and we hope that it'll continue. We're excited to welcome, like you said, the paint store and Best Cleaners there,
Yeah.
and there's the Sunrise Market is already there. So a lot of good stuff happening.
Okay, good. Yeah, we could give another hint about our guest.
Okay.
Here's the hint. International skating rink. Well, I'm just saying, some people have creative ways of solving riddles, so.
That's not one I would have given as a hint, but we'll see how
I
that
know,
comes out.
but you're so straight-laced, and I'm kind of goofy,
Okay.
so yeah, it's okay. So let's see. Elections are coming up.
I have something. We've a couple of things regarding safety, which is a hint to our guest. But a couple of things happened. We were
Band-Aid salesman.
no. So we were ranked the 11th safest city in Connecticut and the first in the Valley by SafeWise. That was just this week, so we're excited about that.
Now, when they say safe, though, don't they mean like the least amount of crime?
Yeah. They look at FBI statistics. They look at a whole bunch of statistics, so we're excited about that. And the other thing in terms of safety, one thing I want to congratulate our Public Works employees who all received their CPR and AED training, so that because oftentimes Public Works is actually the first on the scene, and we want to make sure that they're trained as first responders as well.
And, I don't know when they say Farmington Valley, how many golf courses are in the Farmington
Right.
Valley, but
We were ranked.
Yeah, ours was ranked number 1.
That's right. So that's another great accomplishment, and congratulations to Jerry Toner and his group out there. And as you know, we were one of 6 sites selected across the nation to get a free evaluation by the National Golf Association, and so we're excited that people are noticing the great work that's going on down there.
Yeah. Boy, that was a fight many years ago to get the farms established. I think it went up for vote 5 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was before me.
I know. Most of those people are dead who finally won the battle, or 1 foot.
But it is a great asset, and there's a couple other
Of
things going
course
on
it
up
is.
there. Did you know?
Well, I don't know. Give me 3 guesses. Give me a hint.
Okay, one involves a green ball.
A green ball. The fortune-telling convention.
No.
Okay, let's guess.
That would be the tennis courts have been redone up there. So.
I only got
Oh,
one guess.
sorry. I gave it away.
Why
Let me
a
give you
green
another.
ball?
Because that's what you hit when you play tennis.
Not when I played tennis. They were white.
Well, they're green now, Jer.
Really?
Really.
Is that even like in the tournaments?
Well, actually, I don't know. I think so, but I don't know. But there's
so
another thing going on
You
up there,
can't
too.
play up there unless you have green tennis
No,
balls.
you can play with any colored balls you want.
Okay, great.
So there's another thing going on up there that should be done in the next few months, and that is a
brand new casino.
no. Sorry. But there is a warming center by the skating rink, so we're excited to
What
offer
is that like
It's a place where you can watch and not freeze ice skating. So it's basically a watching for the spectators of the ice skating competitions that happen.
So how big is it? How many spectators do you have?
It's, it's about the size, the width of the, a skating rink, the short end. So a little bit smaller than that.
So like when people get there, you got to get there early to get a warm seat. Then there'd be pushing and shoving, and
No.
somebody gets up to get a soda or something, and somebody else scoots in.
No, our people are
Can
very
you
nice.
reserve this?
No.
Oh, very nice.
They are.
Soccer moms driving through town when they're on their way someplace. Whole nother ethical criteria.
No, we're really excited about the developments at the farms because, as you know, it's one of the gems of Simsbury. It's how we market the town and what attracts families to come live in our town. So we're excited to support it, and it gets very much use. So we're excited to contribute to
does.
that.
It's great.
Yeah, it really is.
And they're very, very flexible. Our granddaughter, who usually spends a week with us in the summer, so I had talked to them about swimming lessons, and we live by Central School, so there's a
I know.
small pool right there.
There is.
And the young people teaching it were great.
They are.
And so we would watch each day, and swimming lessons have changed a lot. The strokes now that they teach are like competitive strokes. It used to be, and my wife and I, we did all these, so there are 12 strokes.
Oh,
And it used to be you pass the tests, to teach life-saving, all you had to be able to do all 12 strokes. But none of them are done in the same rhythm or the same way anymore. They're all like done to be speedier. And our daughter, years ago when we belonged to Hop Meadow, what's the name of it, right? Hop Meadow, yeah. So we would swim laps, and Dad, they say you swim like a dinosaur, you go
Oh.
so slow. So, love kids. Well, now our mystery guest, remember that you had 3 clues. What did you choose? Had to do with safety here in town. So decide what you decided. Then I gave you 1 extra clue, international skating rink.
which made no sense.
So now let's introduce, hot from many years after winning the Olympics in the Olympic dance competition. Oh no, Tourville was the girl, wasn't she? Patrick, come join us. And Lisa will clarify this, my misunderstanding.
You are. So what we have with us is Patrick Tourville, who's the Deputy Fire Marshal for the town of Simsbury. And he's here to
Hi,
join us
Patrick.
because it's fire
Pull in
prevention.
a little if you would.
It's Fire Prevention Week in Simsbury. So he's going to talk about some of the importance of what we can do to make our houses and our lives safer with fire.
Oh, if we let him get to that. First, we have to learn a little bit about Patrick. Been in town for over 20 years.
Correct.
Started out as a volunteer.
Started out a volunteer in the Avon Volunteer Fire Department. Became a junior member there and stayed there for 17 years.
Oh, my
Moved
word.
over here for Simsbury, and I've now been in the Simsbury Fire Department for 19 years.
Okay, and so you really have 2 functions there. One's volunteer, and the other is an occupation. Would you explain both of them and what the duties are?
Sure. As the Deputy Fire Marshal here in Simsbury, my responsibilities are to make sure that the residents are safe. I go out and do inspections on all the buildings, all the commercial buildings, and 3-family and above for residential buildings to ensure compliance to the Connecticut Fire Safety Code. And then on the volunteer side, I'm the Assistant Chief of the Fire Department, where I'm in charge of the personnel of the department and also the daily responses as we go out and respond. I can take charge of incidents and make sure we mitigate those problems as quickly and safely as possible.
And Patrick is actually a very skilled educator, so he really does a lot of work educating the community.
Do you have them pass tests? How do we know that? Or is
Well,
that
we
just
evaluate
your
our programs
opinion?
out there. I go out and I talk to all the different types of groups from, kindergarten, preschools, all the way up to adults.
Okay.
And we actually go out and we evaluate our programs to make sure that they're working. So we make sure we're making some changes in how
Okay,
people are
well, I
safe.
think probably Lisa's motivation, not only to honor and show our respect for the fire department, but to keep me from asking a lot of questions of her, because
This is true.
she essentially would like you probably to give us one of your training sessions. So maybe you could give abbreviated, what do you cover in these?
Well, today is great. Like Lisa said, this week is very important to us. This is Fire Prevention Week. If we all remember way back in history, in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire happened. It actually started on October 8th and burned into the 10th. During that time in the city of Chicago, there was hundreds of thousands of people that lost their homes. As we know, the whole city burned because of Miss O'Leary's cow. By the way, who has been let off the hook? That is all not true anymore. The O'Learys have
not
been
true?
pardoned. The cow has been pardoned by
Oh,
many
but no,
more
I
investigations.
thought they had barbecued beef afterwards.
Nope. They all cleared them up, and during years later, they actually pardoned the cow and Mrs. O'Leary.
Oh,
Their
but
family was
it-
actually devastated.
It
from
was
the
the
fire.
cow's fault, but they pardoned
The
her.
cow was there,
Yeah, okay,
and that's all. And it did happen at O'Leary's farm.
okay.
But beyond that, there are not enough evidence to prove that that's where the
I
fire.
bet it was Mrs. O'Leary, and she looked around and she thought, that cow can't defend herself. I'm saying she kicked the lantern.
Oh, we don't know. The evidence isn't out there for us to say so, but I know there was a pardon, so the cow is free.
Okay.
But anyways, with that being said, we always want to remember what happened and it took place that because it was a lot of fire, problems. The whole city was built of wood, including all the residences, the sidewalks, sawdust was used on the streets to keep the dust control down. So the whole city was basically really combustible, and it could light up on fire just as it did. So we kind of look at that, and we always wanted to prevent that from happening ever again. So throughout the years, we started the National Fire Protection Association sponsors the National Fire Prevention Week, which falls wherever October 9th falls in remembrance of the Chicago fire.
Oh,
And this year, we have a
Okay.
theme that's very important to us, and it's a problem that we recognize all throughout the country, and it's
oh,
don't wait.
you're going to get me. You're going to
That's
make me
right.
feel bad.
That's it. Don't wait and check the date. Very important when we talk about our smoke alarms. And that's really important because most people realize that they have smoke alarms and they'll change their batteries. They'll test their alarms with the little buttons and things like that on the front, and you can test it like that. But the one thing we're not doing is actually checking the date on the back of the detector to ensure that it's no more than 10 years old. And if you look on the back of your smoke alarm, if you take it down when you're changing your battery, when you change your clock, you can look. And then this one happens to say 2002, July of 01. So this detector here is over 10 years old.
So is anybody having a special on?
Yeah, during this time of year, there's a lot of sales usually around. I don't know if the local hardware stores are having anything here or the Home
That'd be a
Depots.
great
Or,
fundraiser for some, civic group.
it would be great if they
Go out
provided
and
smoke
buy a
alarms.
lot of 'em
We need all the
at a
help we can
wholesale
get.
price.
State law says you have to have one outside of your sleeping area. However, the national
so I could
recommendation.
Be arrested?
It's a state law. Yes, you could.
Boy, you get me in so much trouble. Last month, I had to go down and say I have one more bedroom than you're taxing me on. And now, this
Jerry-
program's over. He's probably going to snap handcuffs on me.
No, but he's
Jared-
going to recommend that you put in a fire
That's right. As long
alarm.
as you have one of these outside that new bedroom that you just told us about.
Yeah.
As long as you have one of these up on the ceiling right outside of it, we'll never touch you.
They're all on one landing, so can I use one?
Well, we'd like to see one on every level of the home. That's very important.
okay.
Because smoke travels throughout the house. Smoke goes up and out.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way up to the top floors. But it can hit any level in between. So we recommend that you have one at every level of the home, one outside the sleeping area, and also a carbon monoxide detector at each level
We
of the
have
home.
that.
Yep,
'cause of
those
the
are
That's
good to
good.
have
fireplace,
too.
It's
yeah.
important.
The but like the ones that were there when we moved in, they weren't functional anymore, and they were like really secured to the ceiling. So do you have ones now that you can just tape up on the?
Nope, it's the same thing. We want to make sure that they actually have screws to hold them up so they don't accidentally get knocked down or over a period of time fall down. And then obviously they can't do their job if they're down low on the ground.
So I'm getting screwed today, is what we're saying.
Not at
No,
all.
what you're going to do is be safer after
I
today.
am.
Because we
We
care
all
about you,
are, aren't
right.
we? Yes, we are.
And that's a challenge that we have for Simsbury. We don't want them to wait. We want them to check the date, and it's very important. So check that date in the back of your smoke alarm.
And what
Also
are the
test it.
differences? Like they look quite different.
Well, this
from
one
the
happens
other
to be the old-fashioned type with a 9-volt battery in the back. And we can easily take those off. That was the old square battery from the days gone by. Well, nowadays, a little bit more modern technology, we have a 10-year lithium battery now. So people can put these in their homes, and the battery will last 10 years. So we don't have to check the battery every year, but we still have to test the smoke alarm and ensure it's there and is operating properly.
So, like if you put your house on the market, you could actually charge extra because you could say there are 8 years left on the battery in my fire detector.
Well, funny you should mention that. Actually, when you go to sell your house, we passed legislation not too long ago, a few years ago, that actually requires that the realtor have an affidavit signed that there are working smoke alarms in the home.
Really?
Yep. Just another
I
step
don't
that we
think
try to
they're
do to
doing
make it
that.
safe.
Arrest them first and then come after
Nobody's
me.
being arrested.
Nobody's
They're-
arrested.
They're into public
I don't know.
safety.
It sounds like a lot of laws are being broken
No,
here.
no. This is about public safety and how do we keep our community
Well,
safe.
most laws are about public
Yeah.
safety, yeah, but that doesn't keep us from arresting people who break the law.
We're not going to arrest people who don't have that. Well,
I'm
but
going to
we-
talk to the chief right after this. Well, first I'm going to put on my fire detector.
Yes, you are.
Then
That's
I'm
the
gonna
first
go
thing
down
you're
and
going to do.
talk to-
That's
That
the
is
first thing we'd
you're
love to
gonna
see.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, so continue. Besides the fire detectors, Fire Prevention Week, you'd like to see people do what?
Again, check the date, test their alarms to make sure they're working in the house. Change the batteries when we change the clocks every 6 months. Change your clock, change
Even
your
the
battery.
ones that's going to be a 10-year battery?
Well, the 10-year batteries, we don't have to. But at that point, what we recommend is just testing it, making
Okay.
sure that it works and it's still there.
Okay.
Make sure no one took it down when they painted the ceiling or anything like that. Because sometimes, they sit up there in a long time without being seen or touched or anything else, and we forget about them. So we try to use these times to remind everyone, please,
Okay.
check the date, test your smoke alarm, change the battery if need be.
And Patrick, it's also a good time of year to remind families to plan on how they're going to get out in the event of a fire.
Exactly.
Can you talk to that?
Yeah, having a home escape plan is probably one of the most important things in the world. I get to serve the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, as a public educator, and I hear stories that happen across the country with that group on how people had a working plan in their home and how everyone was out safely. Unfortunately, in my line of work, I also see people that didn't have plans and what can happen to them.
Well, you know what used to be, well, more common, maybe not always overly common, but a front and back stairway from the upper floors. And really, houses aren't built that way anymore at all.
That's true.
So, if you're on the second floor, there's primarily one exit unless you want to jump out of a window. Now, when we built a house years ago, as a housewarming gift, my father-in-law gave us a rope escape ladder that had hooks that you could put over the window.
Yep, we recommend them highly in two-story homes. Like you said, normally there's only one way out of the house through a door. However, if the fire is getting large in the first floor of the home, the smoke and everything will fill up onto the second floor. Now you'll need an escape ladder or go to your window and have a flashlight, open the window a little bit so you can breathe in the air. Or if you have an escape ladder, you can utilize that escape ladder to go outside. And we highly recommend those. One on each side of the stairwell. So in
Now,
each bedroom's on a
opening that
second
window a little
floor.
bit, wouldn't that create a draft?
Well, opening it up all the way, yes, will introduce more oxygen and could have an effect on the fire itself.
I watched
but if you have a
Chicago,
smoke-
whatever.
Yeah, Chicago fire.
Yeah.
If you have a little fire inside the house, though, and there's a little bit of smoke in your room and it's starting to bother you, you need that fresh air to survive. So we recommend just opening it just enough to get your mouth through and take breaths that way.
Okay. So, wow. Boy, somebody who has rope ladders with hooks at the top and fire detectors, they could make a mint in the next week or two after having watched this show.
Well, those ladders have been around for years, and a lot of people actually ask for them, and they ask questions about them all the time. So younger, newer parents who just bought their first homes
I don't have
are
one
asking
in
the questions.
This house. My father-in-law had said it's only for his daughter.
Yep, if you have a second level, definitely have it. And, well, I don't know
You
how
can use it too.
don't know.
I would say you'd use it too.
I don't think we have it anymore. So where would I buy a...
That's a good question.
At any of the local hardware stores here in town, they have them.
Oh,
or you can
okay.
go also, of course, to the Home Depots and Lowe's, and you can even find them on Amazon and things like that if you have a busy schedule. and you
Okay,
can't
so
get out.
these aren't the kind when the first person gets down, they can unhook it from below and...
No.
Nope,
No,
these will
okay,
actually
that's
hang right
good.
from the windowsill, and it's a ladder that goes along the side of the house,
Yeah.
and then you just go down the ladder.
So let me ask a general question about the fire department. We have a volunteer fire department. So does that mean nobody is sitting in that house, the fire houses, until an alarm goes off, and then everybody goes straight to where the fire is, or how does that work?
Basically, what happens is when we're sitting, we are 100% volunteer fire department, and what we do is we get the 911 phone call. It comes in here to the police department, and then they transfer the call over to us for dispatch, and we'll get the police dispatcher will take all the information, notify our dispatcher, and then our dispatcher will tone it out over a pager for us, for all the volunteer firefighters. We then hop in our vehicles, come down to the firehouse.
Oh, to the
get ready.
firehouse.
Yep. We have to bring the apparatus, and we want to make sure there's enough manpower in that apparatus to use it correctly.
Yeah.
And then we drive to the incident.
It's speedy, though, right?
It is.
We're lucky. In the town of Simsbury, our average response time is within 4 to 5 minutes. We'll have someone on scene. It
pretty
could be
good.
an officer, and then the truck is usually there within 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
And
that
I
is
don't know
very
how that
quick.
compares with the ones where they have departments, but from what you hear, they're pretty late getting to places at times.
No, we have actually a very good response time, and we monitor it.
You do.
Yeah, we do.
So there's a standard to get
There
measured
is.
against?
There is.
Yep.
How do we rate?
We do very well. We actually, and you're speaking of career departments that are out there, we actually are very competitive in times to our response times as
Good.
they are. So
Good.
we're very proud of that.
Well, I have a
fact.
lot of respect for it. I mean, that's really putting yourself in harm's way, for your community. So.
It really is.
And it seems like you have a pretty regular flow of people willing to volunteer, to come on new.
Yeah, luckily enough, right now we have about 70 volunteers in the town of Simsbury,
And
where
that's
some of
good.
the outlying communities don't have as many.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong, but we're happy to have 70 people, and we'd love to see that number grow. And if anybody is interested in joining our fire department, we always love to talk to them.
There you go. Did you hear that? Get a hold of Patrick. Sign up. Save lives.
It really is a wonderful department.
And really, it's a
Very.
wonderful.
It is.
Patrick, you should be a public speaker. You have a great
you.
voice for it, and you organize very well. Thank you.
I would
Thank
like to
you
say
for
one last
today.
thing, too. I'd like to
Yes.
thank our first selectwoman, who also signed a proclamation here in town of Simsbury recognizing Fire Prevention Week this week. And
I'm
thank you very
happy
much,
to do
Lisa.
that.
Lisa, boss of the town, thank you very much. And
My
thank you
pleasure,
again,
Sarah.
Patrick. And thank all of you. And hopefully we'll see you next month on State of the Town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.